Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Live With. And this topic was originally going to be about mistakes, but I kind of felt that mistakes kind of go a bit with forgiveness, so I might turn this into a bit of a two-parter. But let's talk about mistakes. And so everyone makes them. We are all human beings. We all have issues that we run into where, maybe we get angry, or we yell at someone, or we forget to do something we promised we were going to do, and you feel a little beat up about it. And maybe someone made a mistake and they said something rude to you, or they forgot to do something they said that they were going to do. Those moments, those incidents, even those things can be really, really hard for people who suffer from depression and anxiety and anger to deal with, because like we said in the last episode, triggers again. And if someone is already in trigger mode, as I'm going to call it, you've already had your bad day, you got the next one and the next one and the next one. You can feel frustrated, and it could be that one thing, that one mistake that you either made or someone made and you were affected by, that sets you off, that can ruin that day. And so I guess the question for me, I always took things so personally, and it was hard because, especially when I made a mistake and I felt bad and I wanted to apologize and I wanted to be heard, it was hard to be willing to put myself out there, walk up to that person and ask for forgiveness. And it was hard to also forgive when I've been affected and hurt. So I'm going to give you two real examples of both of those. Me having to ask for forgiveness and me having to apologize for a mistake I made, and one where I needed to be willing to accept someone else's apology and accept that they made a mistake. So recently, I made the mistake of hurting someone that I loved and care about. And it wasn't by design, it wasn't by choice, it was by taking pride in the wrong things and feeling upset and feeling that this one slight that I perceived was more than it was. It was something they had done, and I don't want to get into details on it, but ultimately I took it like the worst way possible. And I know that my reaction of being frustrated and angry and just not wanting to talk to this person anymore was wrong. It was the wrong way to handle it. And it didn't help me, it didn't help them, because I felt terrible. I felt like I had this weight on my shoulders, and I was afraid or ashamed to admit that I had blown up at them, that I had, kind of minimized what they were trying to tell me and why things had happened the way they happened. And I instead focused on the bad portion about it. So instead of doing that, what I should have done was just listen more and be willing to forgive more. And so I was able to kind of get myself out of that. And I hope that person knows exactly how sorry I am. I have apologized to this person since then. I was willing to put everything away and help them to understand that not everything was so bad, and I took it the wrong way, and I will forever be sorry for the way that I treated them in that moment, and how that made them feel, and how that made them feel dismissed and not good about themselves. So I had to be willing to put pride, put anger, put frustration, put all of those things away so that relationship can move forward and be in a better spot. The other side of this is the willingness to forgive others. And I'm going to be very, very honest about this. I have had some issues in my life. I was adopted. I wasn't, my family wasn't bad. And there was nothing wrong with my family. I love my family to death. I love my mom, my dad, everybody. But we had struggles, emotional struggles, and things like that. And words were said out of anger, out of frustration by members of my family that I don't think they realized in that moment what they were saying, and they just came out. It was like an emotional, like, rage outburst. And we have those, guys, like we all do. And it's okay to know that there is going to be an outburst sometimes. There is going to be something you can't handle, and you have to do your best to minimize it. But ultimately, in this situation, it was conveyed to me, and I don't want to get too deep into it, that wish we hadn't adopted you, and wish you would go back to your real family. And those words hurt, and they still hurt sometimes today. But it's, in those moments, that initial smack, that initial, like, hurt, it tore me up. But not once did I ever really feel that any of my family members really believed that. That, while it was frustrating, it was hard to deal with that emotion and that negativity, I realized that it was coming from a place from, I don't know, anger or whatever, and that it wasn't meant the way it was, and that it was just something you said. But I had to realize, and it took a while, and I'm talking years in this instance, to get over it, because that's the kind of thing that can crush somebody. And we all have these powers to crush each other, because we build these relationships with each other where we love each other and we care about each other, and then something bad happens and we have an anger outburst, or we just start ignoring someone, or we start, just being rude, and just becomes our default in that interaction with that person, and it's not okay. So the problem with mistakes is it's hard to forgive them, especially when they're personal, especially when they cut you deep. And it's hard to forgive yourself when you know that you've done the same thing and you've cut someone deep and it hurt them. But guys, the only way to fix it is we have to set aside our pride, set aside our negativity, set aside our bad feelings, and be willing to forgive. Because if you hold on to it, it's just an extra layer of trigger to tear you down and to hurt you. And there's just no way around it. Forgive others. Ask for forgiveness. And sometimes that forgiveness won't come, that day or that week. Sometimes not even that month or that year, depending upon how severe that particular incident was. But we do have to be willing to put ourselves out there and ask for forgiveness. Admit what we've done wrong, and everything will be better. Because whether they can forgive us or whether you can forgive them, it will be better for you. Trust me, it is so easy to hold on to hurt, especially when it's been inflicted upon you, but let it go. It's one of the things that one of my bands that I love says. There's a song called Let It Go, and it basically just describes that anger and that frustration eating away at you. Don't let it, because you deserve better than that, and the people around you deserve better than it too. Let that moment be that moment, and forgive and move forward, because you deserve it, and you matter, and your feelings matter. Sorry. You matter. Don't let negativity, like a mistake, something small or even something big, tear you down. Whether you were the one that did it or someone else did it to you. Put it on the ocean floor. Let it be washed away. Let it go away. And just forgive. And then one day you can forget. And that relationship, maybe it gets better. Maybe it's no relationship after all. But it's not holding you back anymore. So, again, I want to thank you guys for all the love and everything that you've given to me on this journey so far. I know we're only like one episode in. This will be episode 2 when this posts. But again, thank you for everything. Thank you for the likes, shares, everything. Again, if you guys have any topics you want to talk about or want me to talk about, Facebook me, message me. If you're my friend, you've got my text, call. Tell me how I'm doing. Tell me how you're doing. If you're frustrated, let me know. Because I'm here for you. And I want you to be there for me. And I want us all to be there for each other. And let's let the negativity go and move on to the positive. Alright guys, have a wonderful day. It's a little cold out here, so I'm going to get back in my car and go and upload this video. And look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Have a good day. Bye.